Allora, intanto io sono molto 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 contento di conoscerti, ok? E quindi mi fa molto piacere pensare alle cose che ci hai fatto vedere, alle cose che abbiamo fatto insieme. Loro sono i giornalisti, ora te li presento. Vai.
My name is Vincenzo.
Vincenzo.
My name is Giovanni. My name is Alessandro. My name is Alessandro. My name is Lucia. My name is Marta. My name is Giulia. My name is Alan. My name is Angela Maria. My name is Alessia.
Ok. The first question, la prima domanda.
Ciao Erika, volevo chiederti come stai e come è il tempo lì a Miami.
Yes, so I'm very happy to talk to all of you today, and I'm also very good. I'm very healthy, so that's good. And the weather here, I live in Miami, Florida, so it's complete sunshine.
Ciao Erika, è un bel lavoro National Geographic.
I'll say working for National Geographic is very good because it's given me the opportunity to meet people all over the world, and then I'll say something else after. Yeah, but also there's another part of working for National Geographic that I think people don't think about. It's the fact that I get to work and make stories with people, but the other part is I get to share the stories with people. So, for instance, something like this, I get to talk to you guys today, or I get to teach a class in another country. So it's not only making the stories, but it's also sharing the stories. That's very special about National Geographic.
Ciao Erika, volevo sapere perché tuo padre ha voluto collaborare per la costruzione del telescopio Hubble?
I think that's an interview for my father. No, but I'm joking. I think that my father is very interested in the possibilities of space. You know, the possibilities of what is beyond the Earth. I think he's always been interested in that. I think he's always been interested in science fiction, and so I think working as a scientist and as an engineer helped him to solve problems, to understand the cosmos better.
Tu sei venuta qui in Italia, quindi ti è piaciuto più il rapporto che le persone del nord hanno con gli animali o il rapporto delle persone del sud delle persone del sud che hanno con gli animali?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I'm trying to think to be honest, how much time I spent with people and the animals. So for me, I personally didn't spend so much time making stories in Italy around people and the nature. I spent more time in Italy. I did a story in Italy about people in relation to the spirituality and to the religion. And also, I made a story about people in relationship to specific jobs like making shoes or making food, but not so much with people working with animals.
Perché tra tutti i lavori hai deciso proprio di fare la fotografa?
Yeah, because from a really young age, I saw photography as like a type of a magic where I could understand the world around me, outside of me, but also I could understand the world inside of me, like my own feelings. And I saw that it was also a way that I could communicate with people and people could communicate with me.
Ciao Erika, dato che tu scatti molto spesso foto a delle tribù, c'è una tribù che ti è rimasta più impressa?
Yes. Well, to be honest, every person that I've gotten to make a story with, to be honest, they've all impressed me. Meaning that I believe that every person, every tribe, every culture, every country sort of holds the story for the area that they live in. So I think, and when you put it all together, that makes the story of the world. So I think every place I've visited is just giving me like another kind of a part to understand the entire world. So they're all really important, and each one has a unique way to express their part of the world.
Erika, qual è stata la tua prima fotografia e che macchina fotografica hai usato?
That's hard to remember. Because let me think. You mean, I think, to be honest, the first photo that I made, I was maybe I was 11 or 12, and I was in school, maybe in the 7th grade, and we used a pinhole camera, which is a camera like made, I'll show you something like this. It's like a camera, something that looks like this, and it has a little hole in it. And you have to expose it for 5 minutes. And I think it was a picture, actually, that I took of myself, because I set the camera up and then I took a picture of myself.
Ciao Erika, volevo chiederti se quando eri piccola sognavi di fare la fotografa o volevi fare un altro lavoro?
So when I was very young, like maybe your age and younger, I for sure wanted to be an astronaut. That was it. And then after, I think by the time I was maybe 13, I wanted to be a photographer. I always wanted to be a photographer.
Le abitudini della tribù che hai fotografato erano abbastanza diverse o completamente le stesse?
Yeah, so it's very interesting. To be honest, I think it's a little bit of both, the answer. I think that in one way, you see most people have very similar attitudes about who we are to be human. But within that, each culture has very specific expressions of how they relate to the world. So in one way, I see a lot of things that like we're all the same. And in another way, I think there's all these unique expressions based on our language, our culture, the way that we live with the nature, all of these, the climate. So it's honestly a little bit of both.
Ciao Erika, che cosa ti piace più fotografare?
Yeah, so, okay, this answer is, I'm going to give a few different parts. Because when I think the things that I like to photograph have changed from when I was younger as I'm getting older. And maybe you can see it in your own life. Like the things that you liked when you were younger, now those things are changing. Maybe you could say that and then I'll explain things. So when I was younger, I found it important to photograph my family and my friends. And also I found it really important to photograph the way that people were feeling their emotions. Like it was very important that people shared their emotions. And as I got older, I got very interested in how people related to the climate, to the natural world, to their environment. And now, as I'm older, I'm very interested in our vision of how we perceive our consciousness. You know, what it means to be human in a very conscious way.
Ciao Erika, potresti parlarci nel dettaglio delle abitudini delle tribù dei Sami?
Yeah. So first, it's important to say that the Sami that I worked with a very specific group of Sami that are reindeer herders, because there's many Sami, but I worked with a small percentage that are reindeer herders. So maybe say that first and then I'll explain more.
Ciao Erika, mi chiedevo se avessi mai vinto un premio.
Yes, I've won some prizes in my career. Some when I was younger, at different stages throughout my career, I have won some prizes, yes.
Volevo sapere perché vuoi mandare tuo figlio a Tutt'altro?
Okay, because this answer is really important. And because Francesco showed me pictures from the school, and he showed me the interview that the students did with my friend and colleague Lynn, and I was so impressed with your attitude about the world, and I think that my son could learn a lot from all of you.
Perché ti piace così tanto la natura?
Yes, because I realize in the nature, it's like, okay, you know, right now we're alive, we're breathing, we're talking, we're communicating. But for me, when I'm in the nature, it's like I become more alive. Like I can see things, feel things that don't happen when I'm not completely immersed in nature. It's like the nature allows us to feel connected to all the cosmos.
Quanto sei rimasta con la tribù dei Sami?
Yeah, 4 years. It's half your life.
Quali sono le attività dei Sami meno e più che svolte?
Mm-hmm. So, well, they spend honestly, a lot of time with the reindeer. So we would spend a lot of time sleeping in tents, a lot of time in snow machines, and a lot of time sewing, making different kinds of clothing and hats and shoes, and they also spent a lot of time celebrating things with the family.
Hai altre passioni oltre la fotografia?
Yeah, and I really like to go on very long walks or hiking, and I like to read a lot about all types of spirituality, the way that we think about who we are, and the way that we live. I spend a lot of time reading about these things and really long walks in the nature.
Quali sono gli animali che hai visto di più nelle tribù dei Sami?
Thank you for repeating the question. The Sami are reindeer herders. So actually this is very interesting. In the areas that I was working in Norway and Sweden, all of the reindeer, they're not wild animals. They're all animals that are owned by the Sami, like cow or sheep. They're not wild. The Sami own them. So the main animal is the reindeer that the Sami own. And then also they have some other types of livestock. Some people have some cows and things like that. But mostly it was reindeer.
Quando viaggi per fotografare persone importanti, porti qualcuno con te?
Yeah. So it really depends where I'm working. For instance, if I'm working with the Sami, no, I just go by myself. If I'm working in a new area, maybe like in a place in South America or like a place that's very far away that I'm not so familiar, then yes, I always go with one person because I think about my safety and I think about making sure that, you know, if something goes wrong, there's two of us. And the third is if I'm photographing maybe something like a portrait of a president or somebody who's more well known, I always have an assistant because we need two people to carry the equipment, to talk with everybody. So it's much easier to work with people because we have to use a lot of equipment in a short time.
Io volevo chiedere come hai fatto a realizzare il tuo sogno di diventare una fotografa.
Yeah, so I went to, when I was in the secondary school, I did special courses on the weekends and after school, maybe like you're doing here. Like I went to a special school after school to study photography. And then I went to university and I did a degree, and then I did like a master's degree also. And then I worked as apprentice for 1 year before I actually went on my own.
Com'è stato il tuo arrivo a National Geographic? Come ti sei sentita la prima volta?
Yeah, so this is a funny story. I first got an email from National Geographic asking me to show my work on the Sami. And when I got the email, I didn't think it was real, so I didn't answer. But when I realized that it was real, I was really, really happy because I had worked a really long time on a story about the Sami, and I was very happy that that there would be a place that the story could be shared with many people, because I think the story that I was able to do with the Sami is, I think it's really beautiful. What the Sami shared with me is beautiful. So the fact that it would get shared with a lot of people, that really meant something to me.
Essendo in National Geographic, hai fatto molti viaggi. Se sì, ci potresti elencare alcuni posti che hai visto?
Yeah, okay, it's a lot. So the answer is yes. I've made a lot of trips with National Geographic, and maybe I'll give a list of some of the places. So I've been with National Geographic to Norway, Sweden, Russia, Italy, Germany, and South America, Colombia, Peru, Chile, Argentina, and I've been to Mexico, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Canada. I've been to Japan, China. I've been to Ethiopia, and I think more places too, but maybe that's enough.
Per caso, in quali di questi paesi ti sei fermata di più?
Probably the most time, well, of course, as you know, I stayed with the Sami 4 years, so that's a very long time. But outside that, I've been working in one community in Alaska for maybe 6 years now, but I go and come back. And then also in Peru, I've been going now for many years, like more than 14 years, I think, going and coming back.
Tu hai detto che tu volevi fare la fotografa, però anche l'astronauta. Perché hai deciso di fare la fotografa e non hai più voluto fare l'astronauta?
Well, I think when I was young, in order to do something like be an astronaut, I think you had to be very focused on like mathematical, no? And when I was younger, I never really showed a good aptitude for math and for thinking in terms of that. I showed a much better aptitude for listening and creativity in terms of creating stories. So I always had a really large imagination, and I had a really great way to talk to people and listen to people. And so I think when I was young, when I didn't think I was very good at math, it meant, okay, maybe I can't be on the path to be an astronaut.
Perché sei rimasta per così tanto tempo nella tribù dei Sami?
Yeah, it's a good question because so the first year that I went, I was going from my home to the Sami back and forth because first I didn't know, I didn't know till I got there how much time I would spend. And what happened was I found a family that needed something like almost maybe you would call it like an au pair or a housekeeper. I found a family that could use somebody like me to help clean the house and take care of the children and to cook and to do work. And when I found this household, I stayed for 1 year and it was going really well. And then I went to university there because I learned Sami language. So after next year, I did a year of university in that village to learn the language. And then I stayed 1 more year after that, to keep working in the house and also to keep using the language. So it became, it was really important for me to learn how to communicate in the Sami language.
Tu hai detto che sei stata per 4 anni nella tribù dei Sami. Puoi dirci qualche tradizione di questa tribù? O se non ne hai una, il capodanno com'è nella tribù dei Sami?
Yeah, so okay, so the Sami for the new year for the Sami, this is in the month of May, and it's called Mesemanu, which means the month of the calf. And so they consider this the new year because this is the month when all the calves of the reindeer are born. And I'll mention something about a Sami wedding. So when typically when a reindeer herder Sami gets married, the wedding can go for 3 days, and there can be almost 2,000 people going through the wedding, and everybody will eat a reindeer stew.
Visto che sei stata 6 anni in Alaska, cosa ti ha appassionato di più?
The people, and the nature. So I stay in a small village called Quinnabuck, and it's on the Bering Sea. That's the name of the Mar, the Bering Sea. And it's a really small village of 600 people, and they're called Yupik people, Yupik.
Dove vivevano i Sami e che lingua parlavano?
Yes, okay. So the Sami traditionally lived in 4 countries. So Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Russia. And so the Sami have there originally was 13 Sami languages, but now there's only about 3 to 4 languages that people speak, because the other languages are now extinct or extinct languages. And the language that I learned is called North Sami, and maybe there's something like 12,000 people that speak it.
Qual è il piatto tipico dei Sami?
Yeah, it's a type of stew, and this has carrots, potatoes, and reindeer. And then also, it'd be very common that they're going to make food from all parts of the reindeer. So the stomach of the reindeer, the blood of the reindeer, the eyeballs, the hooves. They're going to make some food from all of the parts of the reindeer.
Allora, io ti volevo chiedere quale, diciamo, è stato il tuo viaggio preferito, quello che hai fatto.
Well, to be honest, I really like all of them. It's so hard. I know this is everybody asks me this question, and I don't have a good answer because I really think that, you know, every place I go is I get to experience something new and meet somebody. I actually really think they're all really important to me. I don't have one place. But I also say this, so, you know, my mom is from Italy. And so every time I go to Italy, I always feel like, it feels like I want to stay a little bit longer, and I want to speak a little Italian, and I want to eat the food, and I want to meet more people because it reminds me very much of my mom and my mom's family.
Quando torni in Italia?
I'll be back. I don't know, maybe, I don't know. Hopefully soon.
Quando vuoi sei ospite nostra,
Yes, I would love that.
Quali sono i tuoi progetti per il futuro?
Yeah, so right now, I just finished, like last week, a project on the manatees in Florida. The manatee, I should ask you, do you know what a manatee is?
No.
Okay, yeah, maybe it's maybe something like maybe you understand it as a sea cow. You know sea cow?
No.
Okay, and so it's an animal very specific to Florida, the Caribbean, and parts of Africa. It's a sea mammal, and where I live, this animal is endangered. So I've just finished a story for National Geographic on this animal. And then now I'm working on and actually writing an anthology, a film with a colleague. We're writing a film about where we live in Florida and how the individual people's daily life in Florida relates to our experience, the cosmos.
Tu oggi che cosa hai fatto per salvare il pianeta?
Yes. I sent my son into the world with a big hug and a kiss. And so I think, that the most important thing that I can do is when I show love to my son, he's constantly learning how to love the things around him, including the nature. And this is the thing that can live on way past me. And he continues to fall in love with the things around him. I want to say, wow, thank you for so many beautiful questions. They're really, really thoughtful questions. Thank you so much.
Dopo Erika ci racconta magari, se vuole, una foto, ci racconta come ha realizzato una foto in particolare.
His name is Sven, and now he's been a reindeer herder since he was born. So 70 years he's been a reindeer herder. And it's important because for his whole life he's been herding reindeer, but he also has to kill reindeer because they kill reindeer to eat them. But one day in the winter, I was with Sven, and he came across these two reindeer here, like this. And he looked very upset, and he wasn't really talking, and he was looking at the reindeer. Now, on the reindeer, on the ear of the reindeer, there's always a mark on the ear, because the mark shows who the reindeer belongs to. He says to me, after he looks at the ear, one of the reindeer is my reindeer, one of the reindeer is my cousin. And he said, and I said, but Sven, why are you so upset? Because you've seen reindeer die before. And he said to me, because these two reindeer, they're female, and they were fighting, so the antlers got connected like this, and they couldn't break free. So they starved, they had no food, and they were frozen to death. So this maybe takes 3 days. And over the 3 days, I know how much they suffered. And he says, this is what makes me sad. He goes, it's one thing, the reindeer are dying, but when I know that the reindeer have suffered, this really hurts me. And for me, this was very important, because when I went to the Sami, I had a question about what does it mean to be human? What does it mean to be human in the natural cycle of life and death? And when Sven gave me this answer, it meant that we as humans, we are very much human when we understand the feeling of suffering. This is a very human emotion. And I think this is what makes us want to do something to save the earth, want to do something special for our families. I think it's what makes us feel a part, an important part of everything.
Okay.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Francesco, I really am going to make a trip to come visit and bring my son. We'll come to visit.
Okay.
Ciao, thanks. Thanks.
Okay.